Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with Podcast. My name is Emma, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. This is the podcast where you can relax, listen, and improve your English naturally. Whether you are at home, commuting to work, or just taking a walk outside, this podcast is made to help you practice real English in simple, everyday situations. Today's episode is going to be very interesting and maybe a little challenging to imagine. Our topic is a day without your phone. Now, that might sound almost impossible because for many of us, the phone is not just a tool anymore. It's something we use from the moment we wake up until the moment we go to bed. Think about your own daily routine for a second. What is the first thing you do when you wake up? For many people, the answer is simple: they check their phone. They look at the time, they read messages, maybe they scroll through social media or check the weather. And then throughout the day, the phone is always there, helping with directions, entertainment, communication, and even work. But what if, just for one day, you didn't have it? No calls, no texts, no social media, no internet, no music, no camera, no Google Maps. How would you feel? What would your day look like? Would you feel lost, stressed, or maybe even a little free? In this episode, we are going to take a journey together. We'll imagine an entire day without using a phone, from the morning when you wake up through the afternoon and finally into the evening. We'll talk about the problems that appear, the habits we lose, and also the positive sides of living without a phone. And of course, I'll share with you useful English words and phrases that you can learn and practice. Each section will give you vocabulary, examples, and ideas that you can use in your own conversations. At the end of this episode, I'll also give you a listening challenge and a speaking challenge. These small exercises will help you take what you learned today and use it in your own English practice. So, are you ready to imagine a phone-free day with me? Let's begin our journey and see what happens when we wake up in the morning, without an alarm on our phone.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with Podcast. My name is Jane, and I am so glad you are here with me today. In this episode, we are talking about something very unusual but also very interesting: a day without your phone. Have you ever tried it? Today, I will take you through the morning routine, but without a phone. We'll discover how it feels, what challenges we face, and of course, you'll learn useful English words and phrases that you can practice. So let's begin with the very start of the day, waking up. Waking up without an alarm for many people, including me. The phone is our alarm clock. I set my alarm for 7:00 a.m. on weekdays, and without that alarm sound, I might sleep until 9 or even 10 a.m. Imagine that. No ringtone, no vibration, no reminder. If you don't have a traditional alarm clock, you simply stay in bed until your body decides to wake up. That might sound relaxing, but it could also mean being late for school or work. In English, we use the phrase wake up to mean stop sleeping. For example, I wake up at 7 every morning. Another important word is alarm, which means the sound that tells you it is time to get up. For example, my alarm rings at 6:30. So without a phone, your morning already feels different. You wake up late, and you might feel a little confused because there is no alarm sound to guide you. The usual first habit now. Let's think about what most people do first thing in the morning. Be honest. What do you do? If you are like millions of people around the world, the very first thing you do is grab your phone. Still lying in bed, you check messages, WhatsApp, Instagram, or maybe TikTok. Some people open their email inbox, others scroll through news updates. But what if there is no phone? That means no messages, no videos, no news. The verb we often use here is scroll. To scroll means to move your finger up or down on the phone screen to see more content. For example, I like to scroll through Instagram before I get up. Without a phone, you cannot scroll at all. You are left with silence and your own thoughts. The weather problem after checking messages. Many people check the weather app. I do it every morning because I need to know. Do I need an umbrella? should I wear a jacket? In English, the word weather means the condition outside, the sun, the rain, the temperature. For example, the weather is cold today, but if you don't have a phone, you cannot check the weather app. Instead, you have to walk to the window, look outside, and try to decide. Maybe you see dark clouds, so you think, it might rain today. Or maybe the sun is shining, so you think, it looks warm today. In English, we call this guessing. To guess means to try to know something without being sure. For example, I guess it will rain this afternoon. So in just the first 10 minutes of your day, without a phone, you are already making guesses and not feeling certain. How it feels at this point, many people would feel uncomfortable. We are so used to our phones that life without them feels strange. For English learners, it is interesting to notice how we describe this feeling. You might say, I feel lost without my phone, or I don't know what time it is, or I feel disconnected. These are useful phrases you can practice when describing your emotions. For example, I feel lost without my phone in the morning. I feel disconnected because I cannot read my messages. I feel confused because I don't know the time. These short sentences are simple, but they help you express your experience in English. Practicing together now, let's practice the new words from this part of the episode. Alarm, the sound that wakes you up. Example, my alarm rings at 7 a.m. Wake up. Stop sleeping. Example, I wake up late on weekends. Scroll. Move your finger up or down on a phone screen. Example, I scroll through TikTok every morning. Weather, the condition outside. Example, the weather is sunny today. Guess, to try without being sure. Example, I guess it will be cold tomorrow. I recommend that you repeat these words out loud after me. Speaking out loud is an excellent way to train your memory and improve your pronunciation. A short challenge. Here's a quick challenge for you. I will say a sentence with a missing word, and you try to complete it. Ready? I usually at 7 a.m., but today I slept until 9. I check the app every morning to see if it will rain. Without my phone, I cannot through Instagram in bed. There is no alarm today, so I have to the time by looking at the sun. Great practice. The answers are wake up, weather, scroll, guess. So what have we discovered? Without a phone, the morning routine changes completely. You may wake up late because there is no alarm. You cannot check messages or scroll through apps. You cannot know the weather with certainty, so you have to guess. And all of this makes you feel a little disconnected. But remember, this podcast is not only about imagining life without a phone. It is about practicing real English for daily situations. So the next time you wake up in the morning, pay attention to what you do first. Is it checking your phone? If so, imagine how you would explain that habit in English. Stay with us, because next we will move to the moment when you leave the house and start your commute without a phone. That will bring even more surprises and more useful English words.
Today we continue our special episode where we imagine living a whole day without a phone. In the last part, we talked about the morning routine and how different it feels to wake up without an alarm or without checking messages first thing in the morning. Now let's move to the next part of the day, leaving the house and the commute. This moment of the day is usually full of little habits that are connected to our phones. So, let's imagine what happens when you step outside and realize that your phone is not with you. Feeling strange without a phone for most people, carrying a phone has become automatic. Before leaving the house, we check 3 things: keys, wallet, and phone. If one of them is missing, it feels uncomfortable. Without a phone, many of us would feel incomplete, almost like we forgot something very important. This shows how much phones are part of our daily lives. No music or podcasts. Now imagine walking to the bus stop or train station without your phone. Usually, people listen to Spotify, YouTube Music, or their favorite podcasts during this time. Music helps us feel motivated, and podcasts help us learn or stay entertained. But without a phone, the walk is silent. All you can hear are the sounds of the street, people walking or cars passing by. At first, silence may feel strange, even boring. But it can also give you time to think or notice things around you. For example, you might notice the birds singing, the sound of children playing, or even just your own footsteps. The bus or train ride, for many people, the commute is a time when the phone is used most often. On the bus or train, people scroll through social media, check the news, reply to messages, or watch short videos. Without a phone, the experience is completely different. Instead of looking down at a screen, you might just look out the window, watch people around you, or even read a real book or newspaper. Some people may feel uncomfortable because they are not used to simply sitting without distraction. But others may find it peaceful, almost like a small break from constant information. No Google Maps. Another big problem during the commute is directions. Today, almost everyone uses Google Maps or another app to find the fastest way to a new place. But without a phone, you need to rely on memory, street signs, or the old-fashioned way, asking people for help. Imagine the situation: you are lost in a new city. Instead of typing in an address, you ask someone, "Excuse me, how do I get to Main Street?" This can feel uncomfortable, but it is actually a good opportunity to practice speaking English. You learn useful expressions like turn left, go straight, or across the street. So even though it feels scary, it can also help you connect with people. No camera for photos. Now think about this. You are walking and suddenly you see something beautiful. Maybe a flower, a dog, or a sunset. Normally, the first reaction is to take out your phone and capture a photo. But today, without a phone, you simply stop and look. You try to remember the image with your eyes instead of a camera. Of course, many people would miss having a photo to share later. But sometimes when we don't take a picture, we enjoy the moment more deeply. Vocabulary time. Let's quickly review some useful words and expressions from this part of the day. Grab my bag, to take your bag quickly. Example: I grab my bag before leaving for work. Listen to music, to enjoy songs or sounds. Example: I always listen to music on the bus. Social media, apps like Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Example: many people spend hours on social media every day. Get lost, to not know where you are. Example: without Google Maps, I might get lost in a big city. Take a photo, to use a camera or phone to save an image. Example: I want to take a photo of this beautiful sunset. Try repeating these phrases after me. Pause the podcast and say them out loud. Grab my bag, listen to music, social media, get lost, take a photo. Practicing out loud helps you remember them better. Reflection and practice. So let's think together. How would your commute feel without a phone? Would you enjoy the silence, or would it be boring? Would you talk to people more often, or maybe just look outside the window? Here's a small speaking challenge for you. Try to say 3 sentences about your commute without a phone. For example, I feel bored on the bus because I cannot listen to music. I get lost without Google Maps. I look out the window instead of scrolling through social media. If you want, you can even write a short paragraph in your notebook about how your day would feel. So, leaving the house and traveling without a phone feels very different. At first, it may be uncomfortable. No music, no podcasts, no directions, and no photos. But at the same time, it can be peaceful and give you a chance to notice the world around you.
Now, we're going to explore what happens in the afternoon when you live a whole day without your phone. We've already imagined the morning routine and the commute, and we've seen how different life feels without alarms, music, or social media. But now let's step into the afternoon, a time when communication becomes really important. Normally, this is when many of us text friends, make plans, check emails, or send quick updates to family. But today, remember, no phone, no texting, no calling. Let's imagine you want to meet a friend for lunch. Normally, you'd just send a quick message, "Hey, want to grab lunch today?" Or, "Where are you? What time will you arrive?" But today, you can't do that. There's no texting, no WhatsApp, no quick phone call. That means if you want to meet someone, you have to plan in advance. For example, yesterday you'd need to say, "Let's meet at the cafe near the library tomorrow at 1 p.m." And then you just hope that your friend remembers and shows up. If they're late, you don't know why. Maybe the bus was delayed, maybe they forgot, maybe they changed their mind. You simply don't know, because there's no way to check. This shows us how dependent we are on instant communication. Without it, life feels slower, less certain, and sometimes more stressful. Emails and work communication. Now let's think about work or study. Most of us check our emails several times during the day, and for many people, the phone is the main way to do this. Without a phone, you can't read or reply to emails during the afternoon. You'd have to wait until you get home and open your laptop or computer. Imagine your boss sends you an important update at 2 p.m. Normally, you would see it immediately and maybe answer within minutes. But without your phone, you don't even know the email exists until the evening. That delay could be frustrating for your boss or your colleagues, and for you it might cause stress. So, communication at work also becomes slower and less efficient. Missing out on group chats. Another big part of modern life is group chats. Maybe you have a group with your friends to plan the weekend, or a family group where people share photos, or even a study group where classmates send information. Without your phone, you miss all of this. Let's say your friends are planning a birthday party. Normally, you would see all the messages and add your ideas. "I can bring a cake," or "Let's meet at 7 p.m." But today, the whole conversation happens without you. By the time you open your computer in the evening, the plan is already made, and you had no chance to join the discussion. That can feel lonely. It's as if life is happening without you. Family connections and FOMO. It's the same with family. Maybe your mom sends a good morning message every day, or your sister shares a funny picture of her cat. These small messages may not be essential, but they bring comfort and connection. Without them, the afternoon feels strangely silent. This silence can lead to something we call FOMO, fear of missing out. You start to wonder, did something important happen? Did I miss an invitation? Is everyone else talking and laughing without me? That fear shows how deeply we connect our phones with relationships and belonging. Vocabulary focus now. Let's look at some useful vocabulary connected to this situation. I'll give you 5 words and short examples you can repeat after me. Text someone, to send a short written message. Example: I usually text my friend before lunch. Call someone, to talk to a person using the phone. Example: can I call you after work? Email, an online message, usually for work or study. Example: I read my emails on my phone. Group chat, an online conversation with many people. Example: we planned the party in a group chat. Message, a short note sent by phone or app. Example: I got a message from my sister this morning. Try repeating these sentences aloud. Speaking practice helps the words stick in your memory. Reflection. So, what can we learn from this afternoon without a phone? First, communication becomes slower. You need to prepare more in advance. Second, you lose a lot of small social moments like jokes, photos, and quick updates. And third, you feel less connected, which can be uncomfortable but also eye-opening. In the past, people lived this way all the time. In the past, people lived this way all the time. They made plans face-to-face or used landline phones at home. Waiting for information was normal. Today, because we are so used to instant replies, even a few hours of silence feels difficult. Small practice challenge now. Let's try a little practice. I'll give you a question, and you can answer it in English, out loud, wherever you are. Ready? How would you meet a friend for lunch if you didn't have a phone? Maybe you could say, I would make a plan the day before. I would choose a fixed time and place. If my friend was late, I would wait and hope they come. Try making 2 or 3 sentences of your own. That's the end of the afternoon section. We've seen that without a phone, we can text, call, email, or check group chats. Life feels quieter, sometimes lonely, but it also reminds us that real communication requires planning, patience, and trust. Stay with us, because next we'll explore the positive side of living without a phone. What new opportunities open up when you put the screen away?
Now, up to this point, we've talked about all the problems and difficulties that come when we don't have our phones. No alarm clock, no music, no texting friends, no Google Maps. Can feel stressful, right? But let's stop for a moment and look at it from another angle. What if not having your phone could actually be a good thing? What if there are real benefits? That's what we'll explore together now. But noticing more around you when you're not constantly looking at a screen, you start to notice things you usually ignore. For example, imagine walking to work without headphones or your eyes on Instagram. Suddenly you notice the tall trees on the street, the way the leaves move in the wind, or maybe a bird singing on the roof. These little details of life often disappear when we're distracted by our phones. Vocabulary practice. Notice to see or hear something. Example: I noticed the sound of birds this morning. Bird, a small flying animal. Example: a bird was sitting on my window. Try saying this: without my phone, I noticed the birds in the park. 2. Better focus at work or study. Phones are one of the biggest sources of distraction. Think about it. Every time your phone buzzes with a notification, your brain immediately wants to check it. That breaks your concentration. Without a phone, you don't feel the urge to check every 5 minutes. You can stay focused longer and you often finish your tasks faster. For students, this might mean studying with deeper concentration. For workers, it might mean finishing projects earlier or having clearer ideas. Practice sentence: without my phone, I can focus on my work. 3. Real conversations with people. Another big positive is more human connection. Imagine you're having lunch with your coworkers. Usually, many people are half listening while also scrolling through social media. Without phones, there's nothing else to look at. That means you listen more carefully, ask better questions, and share more stories. The conversation becomes richer and more enjoyable. The same is true with family. If you visit your parents or spend time with your children, being without a phone makes the time feel more personal and special. Vocabulary practice. Talk with someone to speak to another person. Example: I like to talk with my coworkers during lunch. Try this: without my phone, I talk more with my family. For healthier free time activities, when the phone is not available, you might choose different hobbies. Instead of scrolling on TikTok for an hour, you might pick up a book, go for a walk, or even draw a picture. These activities are not only healthier but also more creative. Reading a book can improve your imagination and vocabulary. Walking can improve your physical health and relax your mind. Drawing or writing in a journal can help you express your feelings and reduce stress. Vocabulary practice. Book pages with writing to read. Example: I read a book before bed last night. Draw, make a picture with a pen or pencil. Example: I like to draw in my free time. Practice sentence: in the evening, I draw a picture instead of looking at my phone. Mental peace and reduce stress. Think about how often phones make us anxious. Constant notifications, work emails, group chats, news alerts. Without your phone, that noise disappears. You don't feel pressure to reply immediately or keep up with everything. Your brain gets a break. This can give you a feeling of peace. Maybe the day feels quieter, calmer, even slower in a good way. You may even sleep better at night because your mind isn't overstimulated. 6. Reflection and personal growth. A day without a phone also gives you time to reflect. You might sit in the park and just think about your goals. You might realize you want to spend more time with family or start a new hobby. When we are always busy with our phones, we rarely stop to think deeply about our lives. This pause can be valuable. Sometimes the best ideas come when we're not staring at a screen. 7. Practical exercise for you. Now it's your turn. Here's a small speaking challenge. Say 3 sentences about what you would do with your time if you had no phone. For example, Without my phone, I notice more things outside. I read a book in the evening. I talk more with my family at dinner. You can also write them in your notebook. This practice helps you connect the new vocabulary with your own life. So, as you can see, even though living without a phone can feel difficult, it also opens the door to many positives. Noticing the world around you, focusing on your work, having real conversations, enjoying healthier hobbies, and even finding some inner peace. The message here is not to throw your phone away. Of course, phones are useful and important. But sometimes putting your phone down for a while can make your day richer, calmer, and more meaningful. That's the positive side of no phone.
In this part of the episode, we are going to imagine something very unusual but also very interesting: an evening without your phone. Think about your usual evening routine. Maybe you finish dinner, sit on the sofa, and then immediately reach for your phone. Perhaps you open YouTube, scroll through Instagram, or watch short videos until late at night. For many of us, the phone is the center of our evening. But what happens if the phone is not there? How would the evening look? What would you do instead? Let's walk through this together step by step. Life with a phone in the evening first. Let's describe the usual routine when we have our phones. Many people eat dinner and then relax by watching Netflix or YouTube. Sometimes it starts with just 10 minutes of watching, but then 2 hours pass very quickly. The screen keeps us entertained, but it also keeps us awake much longer than we want. Have you ever told yourself, just one more video, and suddenly it is midnight? This is a very common experience. With the phone in your hand, you also probably check social media before sleeping. You scroll through photos, stories, or updates from friends. You may laugh at funny videos or get lost in endless short clips. The result is that your eyes feel tired, your mind is full of information, and you go to bed very late. This is what a typical evening looks like with a phone. Evening without a phone. Now let's imagine the opposite. Dinner is finished, you sit down, and your phone is not there. At first, this may feel strange or even uncomfortable. You might feel bored or restless. You might think, what do I do now? But very soon you will start to explore other possibilities. Without a phone, you may turn on the television or the radio. These are older forms of entertainment, but they still provide company and sound in the background. Some people enjoy listening to music from the radio or hearing the news while they clean the kitchen. Another option is to spend more time with family or friends. Without the distraction of the phone, you might play a board game, have a conversation, or even cook together. This kind of real interaction can feel refreshing because you are fully present in the moment instead of looking at a screen. Productive activities. Evenings without a phone can also become productive. Imagine you decide to clean your room or organize your closet. Normally, you would put this task off because you are busy scrolling on your phone, but today, with no phone, you finally do it. The result is a tidy space and a sense of achievement. Or maybe you decide to read a real book. Reading before bed is not only relaxing, but also very good for your brain and your language skills. You can choose a novel, a magazine, or even an English learning book. Unlike scrolling, reading helps. You focus for a longer time and improves your vocabulary. Evening for creative hobbies. Without the phone, you might try drawing, painting, or writing in a journal. This quiet time can help you reflect on your day, express your thoughts, and even practice English by writing sentences or short stories. Going to bed earlier. One of the biggest benefits of an evening without a phone is sleep. Because there is no endless scrolling, you are more likely to go to bed earlier. Instead of watching videos until your eyes hurt, you might already feel ready to sleep at 10 or 10:30 p.m. This means you get more rest and wake up feeling fresh the next morning. Better sleep has many advantages: more energy, better focus at work or school, and even improved mood. So, just one evening without a phone can have a positive effect on your entire next day. Vocabulary practice. Let's pause for a moment and review some useful vocabulary from this part of the episode. Dinner, the evening meal. Example, we had pasta for dinner. Sofa, a comfortable seat. Example, I sat on the sofa and read a book, watch videos, look at videos on a screen. Example, I like to watch videos after work, go to bed, go to sleep. Example, I usually go to bed at 10:30. Clean room, make a room tidy. Example, I clean my room on the weekend. These words are simple, but they are very useful for talking about your evening routine. Reflection for learners. So, what do we learn from this? At first, an evening without a phone may feel boring. We are so used to our devices that silence feels unusual, but if we give ourselves a little time, the evening can become peaceful, productive, and even healthier. You might finish small tasks, spend quality time with family, read more, or simply enjoy quiet moments. Phones are not bad, of course. They give us entertainment and connection, but sometimes taking a short break, just one evening, can help us see other possibilities.
Before we finish today's episode, let's take a moment to summarize everything we talked about in our journey through a day without a phone. We started in the morning, and the very first challenge was simple but serious. No alarm clock. Without our phones, many of us would wake up late. Then, after finally getting up, we usually grab our phones to check messages, emails, or social media. Without this routine, life feels unfamiliar. Even something as basic as checking the weather becomes a small problem. We cannot open an app, so we just look outside and guess. Then came the commute. Normally, we listen to music, podcasts, or scroll through social media. But with no phone, the walk or bus ride becomes silent. We cannot check maps, so there is the risk of getting lost. And of course, no camera means we cannot take photos of beautiful things we see along the way. In the afternoon, the biggest problem is communication. We cannot text or call friends to arrange lunch. No emails until we reach a computer. No group chats, no funny messages, no family updates. This creates a feeling of loneliness and what people call FOMO, the fear of missing out. But we also explored the positive side. Without a phone, we notice more of our surroundings. The trees, the sounds of birds, or even the voices of people around us. At work, without constant notifications, we focus better and finish tasks faster. And when talking to coworkers, we give them full attention. In free time, we might read a book, take a walk, or even try creative hobbies like drawing or journaling. Finally, in the evening, we saw that no phone means no endless hours of Netflix or YouTube. Instead, we might watch TV, play a board game, clean the room, or simply go to bed earlier. Life becomes quieter, maybe a little boring, but also more peaceful. Now, let me share some useful English phrases from this episode. You can use them when you want to describe your day or when you talk about taking a break from technology. Wake up without an alarm, check social media, feel disconnected, pay attention to surroundings, focus on work, fall asleep earlier, enjoy real-life moments. Try practicing these expressions in your own sentences. For example, I wake up without an alarm on weekends, or I enjoy real-life moments when I put my phone away.
I want to leave you with some useful challenges and a little motivation. Remember, the best way to improve your English is not just to listen, but also to speak, repeat, and use the words in your own life. Let's begin with your listening challenge. I invite you to go back and listen to today's episode again from the very beginning. As you listen, try to focus on the specific moments we discussed. For example, listen carefully to the part about waking up late without an alarm, or the section where we talked about missing Google Maps and the risk of getting lost. You can also listen for when we described the feeling of being disconnected from friends and family during the afternoon. And finally, notice the moments when we mentioned the peaceful evening without Netflix or YouTube. While you listen, Pause the podcast at these key points and repeat the sentences out loud. This will help you train your memory and improve your pronunciation. If you like, you can also write these phrases in your notebook. Writing them down makes it easier to remember and to use later in your own conversations. Now, let's move to your speaking challenge. I would like you to create 3 to 5 sentences in English about what your own day would be like without a phone. For example, you can say, I wake up late because I have no alarm. I feel bored on the bus because I cannot listen to music. I read a book in the evening because I cannot use my phone. Try to be creative and connect the sentences to your real life. If you want to challenge yourself even more, write a short paragraph. For example, my day without a phone would be very quiet. I would miss my friends and my music, but I would notice more things around me. I would go to bed earlier and feel less stressed. Practicing in this way helps you not only build vocabulary, but also gain confidence in speaking naturally. If you want to share your sentences or your short paragraph, we would love to hear from you. Send us your ideas, and who knows, maybe we will read some of them in a future episode. Sharing your work with others is another excellent way to practice and stay motivated. Before we finish, here is a little motivation for you. Technology is useful, but sometimes we forget how much time it takes from our daily lives. By imagining a day without your phone, you not only practiced English, but also reflected on your own habits. Maybe today, you can try putting your phone away for 1 hour and see what happens. You might read more, talk more, or simply feel more relaxed. Thank you so much for joining us today on Learn English with Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our channel so you never miss the next one. Leave us a comment or a review. It really helps more learners find us. And don't forget, our next episode will be about special places in your city, a fun and practical topic that you will not want to miss. Until then, keep listening, keep practicing, and keep speaking English every day. This is Jane, signing off. See you next time.